Welcome to Decades of Horror, the classic era.
It was all your idea. You planned the whole job. You hired us. When you found out I stashed the money, you decided it was time for me to die. You got those two crumbs to turn state's evidence on me, you stinking rotten mouthpiece.
This is episode 190, recorded November 10th, 2024. You never called me a mouthpiece before.
Gruesome magazine.
Stinking rotten, yeah.
Yeah.
Mouthpiece, never.
My name is Jeff Mohr. On this podcast, we cover the good, the bad, maybe even the ugly horror films released since the beginning of time through 1969. In each episode, we'll discuss the monster, spirit, psychos, and villains that have haunted movie-going audiences since the dawn of film history. With me this week are my incredible co-hosts. First up is Chad Hunt, co-host on Decades of Horror, this, that, and the other one. Film producer, director with Wreak Havoc Productions, and a comic book artist and writer. How you doing, Chad?
I'm doing fantastic, but I think when you go dawn, I think you should do it like the old song. Kind of.
Did you make a noise?
Yeah.
I couldn't hear it. Daphne is also with us.
Did you hear that?
She is awesome, stupendous, and likable as hell. How you doing, Daphne?
Hi, guys. It's really nice to be here with you this week.
Yeah. Nice to be with you, too.
Are you sure, Daphne?
Yeah.
I'm positive.
Okay.
I 100% guarantee it.
And last but certainly not least is Doc Rotten, the one,
the
OG Gruesome Magazine podcaster. How you doing, Doc?
Doing good.
Excellent.
Welcome to November.
And Halloween is gone.
Sounds like a sheep farm around here.
All right. Decades of Horror at Gruesome Magazine are partnering with Play Now Media on several of their channels. In fact, Decades of Horror, the classic era, can be found on the Classic Sci-Fi Movie Channel, the Classic Horror Movie Channel, and the Wicked Horror TV Channel, and probably more, but they have like 25 or 30 channels. It's hard to keep track of all the ones that are blessed with our presence. Anyway, they have recently updated all of their apps, and they're rocking. It's very nice now. Now you've got a bunch of different options. You could just go directly to it on Fire TV or the website or Apple TV or Roku, and download the app and just go in there and start watching stuff. And you will have to watch ads, and you might miss out on some premium content, but
you have to watch Chad's what?
Still have to go watch.
Oh, watch ads. I thought you said you're going to have to watch Chad's.
Ads. And I must enunciate more clearly. Or you can subscribe by just creating an account. Basically, your email address and a password. And then you'll be able to watch pretty much everything that you want except the premium content. But you will you can create your save lists, and it'll keep track of where you're at and all that stuff. Lastly, you could pay a monthly fee or an annual fee, which is, I believe, about 35% off. No, it's probably about 30% off of the monthly rate. And you get everything, no ads, and all that other stuff. So, and you get to see our smiling faces. Sometimes we smile. Anyway, and you can see there's a lot of good stuff on there. I was telling them yesterday on the 80s. Saturday afternoon, I watched The Atomic Submarine from the late 50s.
That's a Beatles song.
Close. And I also watched Teenagers Battle the Thing, which was really, really, really bad. It's fun to watch those. All right. Spoiler alert. We're going to spoil this since this is only 68 years old. So, if you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. And there's probably, you could kind of figure out what the ending was going to be, probably. We start by giving some basic details of the film we are covering, followed by each of our first impressions of the movie. We do some taglines, show some posters, and then kind of take off down the road discussing the actors and directors, the plot points, and whatever else comes to mind, hopefully related to the movie. Hopefully. Our topic today.
Yes.
The Indestructible Man. Oh, wait, there's no the. It's just Indestructible Man. From 1956, directed by Jack Palexfan, written by Vi Russell and Sue Dwiggins, credited as Sue Bradford.
Mrs. Wiggins. I know it was coming. I knew it was coming.
The cast includes Lon Chaney Jr., Max Showalter, Marion Carr, Ross Elliott, Stuart Randall, Robert Shane, Robert Folk, Roy Engel, and Joe Flynn. Production company is CGK Productions. It was distributed by Allied Artists Pictures, filmed in LA and San Quentin. I believe the prison scenes were actually filmed in San Quentin. The production dates are in November 1954. It was released March 25th, 1956 in the U.S. And the synopsis is: a brutal death row inmate, double-crossed by his crooked lawyer, gets his chance for revenge when, following his execution, a bizarre experiment brings him back to life, deadlier than ever. And there's the man in his underground lair, hiding, coming out of the sewers.
At least there's no roaches.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, let's do first impressions here. And this one happens to be Chad's pick. So let's have Chad go first.
Have you
seen that before?
Yeah, I did see it before. Once as a little kid, and I always remembered the scene where he stabbed his hand with the scissors, and nothing happened. That I've only seen this once, and that one thing stuck with me all these years about that movie, and that's what makes me remember it. But I remember what I really liked was I liked Lon Chaney in it. I liked the fact that he was bulletproof and all this kind of stuff, and that Joe Flynn resurrected him from McHale's Navy. That's what he was doing when he'd go below deck, bringing sailors back to life. But yeah, this was a pretty cool movie, and I liked the way it was told, and the way it was with the almost detective story, gumshoe type of narrating and everything like that, telling the action. And Chaney hardly had any lines in this at all, and I kind of like that. Made him a little creepier and a little more scary. But yeah, I still like it a lot.
Appreciate it, Chad. Daphne, how about you? Had you seen this before?
I have. I like this movie. I have seen it before, but I think it was mostly just on MST3K. So I really enjoyed watching it on its own, and I really like the black and white. I like Chad said, I love the kind of the detective, the dragnet style stuff. I think I like how it gets right to it with Lon Chaney, the introduction to Lon Chaney, and the awesome character Butcher Benson, who is great. And I like all the shots of the downtown LA, and I just kind of I really love how they incorporated that into the story. I like the kind of Frankenstein in LA in the 50s kind of, or Frankenstein's monster kind of thing. I really like that. yeah, so I thought it was really fun.
Excellent.
Dick chasing. Don't forget the dick chasing.
Oh, I'm sorry, and Dick Chasen.
Yeah.
Can I say something that I just was looking at my notes? The writer's name was Dwiggins, and there was a Professor Dwiggins from Caltech that was supposed to show up to help out. So I don't know if that was a.
I might as well use your own name, right?
Yeah.
He's an expert on indestructible
Yeah.
human beings.
She was Mrs. Dwiggins. Okay, Doc. All right. Had you seen this before? What did you
thought
think?
I thought I had, but I discovered I confused this with Man-Made Monster. Another Lon Chaney electrocuted vehicle of his.
Well, it doesn't help when they put that character on the poster for this movie.
Well, I was thinking that, but yeah. So I realized quickly that I had not seen this, and I'm not as enamored with this one as the two of you are. I found it a little bit of a chore. I found the what you guys call it, the way they were handling the dialogue.
Like a
narration.
voiceover narration.
Yeah, the narration, but you guys gave it a description. It was like show Dragnet, right?
Like
it was kind of
Dragnet.
like oh yeah, no, I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that at all. And of course, Chaney doesn't. I had the opposite effect that Chaney didn't have any lines. You know, he had lines at the beginning, but then once he was a creature, he or come back from the dead, he didn't have any lines. There's a reason for it. We'll get to that, which is kind of a funny and sad reason. But you don't get any. I mean, come on, you want that fun dialogue like you had in Alligator People, right?
Oh yeah,
and you don't really get that here once he gets resurrected. But there's familiar faces everywhere. This is going to be Jeff Mohr's. Well, I was going to say a certain type of dream, but it's his dream collection of character actors, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. It's not even a B picture. It's not even a C picture. It's a Z picture. This movie is.
oh yeah. Somebody's garage. They made this.
This is like pushing the limits. And reading through some of the notes, you can see they ran out of money and they couldn't get any more money. Or the money got pulled, and you can see it all over the place. And some of the story doesn't make any sense, or it doesn't really pull up some loose ends. There's reasons for that too. So all that kind of comes into effect. But if I was at a drive-in in the 50s or even the 60s when this came on, it'd be fine.
Yeah,
because you're not really, it serves its purpose as the B film, for an A picture. So, yeah, bravo. But otherwise,
All righty. So it's better than Teenagers Battle the Thing.
everything's better than that.
By quite a bit.
There's a great title.
I feel like I need to apologize because when we announced this movie at the end of last episode, we kept trying to come up with the scene or the movie that was Man-Made Monster, and we thought of everything. We thought of this one. We thought of the reptile. I kept thinking there was one called the Magnetic Man, but I couldn't find that. And it's just
Man-Made Monster.
it's the poster.
Magnetic Man.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
It's been a rough life for you, hasn't it, Jeff?
I know. Well, titles. Yeah, there's a lot of titles out there.
There's something out there was probably called Magnetic Man.
But I like this just because Lon Chaney doesn't have a lot of dialogue, but boy, does he give the evil stare into the camera. He just
how many times did they use that evil stare?
Oh, quite a bit.
10.5 times.
And we get the life story of we'll get into that later. The one detective and the girl that used to be Lon Chaney's girlfriend, not really his girlfriend, but
I made her my girlfriend.
That was a nice little full stop in the action of the movie as they sat in the car. but anyway, you know what? I enjoyed it. And part of the reason is exactly what Doc said, because this has a great cast of character actors. The people in this movie have like around 100 to 300 credits, all of them, and I'm just
Each right?
going,
Now
wow,
listen,
yeah,
Jeff,
each of them.
listen, Jeff, that's their problem. You don't have to worry about
I'll
it.
keep it down. We won't go the whole way in that. But I like the whole thing of it being indestructible. We'll talk about why the movie was off, but it's, I think Man-Made Monster is better, if I remember it correctly. But it was like 41, so like 15 years ago. So I enjoyed it. I always enjoyed Lon Chaney Jr., and we'll get into the details of why the plot is like it is and why the writers are who they are. And one thing to point out, although the cinematographer and the editor actually had some chops, so that's kind of interesting. So
we're getting into some philosophical stuff. Why am I who I am?
Well, apparently it's time for it's now time for taglines with Chad.
There's no taglines for this.
Oh yeah, there is.
Jesus.
Jesus.
You know what? You're just making this up because I've had it so easy here for a while.
I'm not. You picked this movie, just remember.
Yeah, but I didn't see any. That's why I picked it. I hardly found any taglines.
I didn't make any up.
300,000 volts of horror. The screen's 300,000 volt shocker. The monster that defies destruction. Curtains can't stop him. I'm sorry, Daphne, what?
No, just going to say indestructible. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Anyway, curtains can't stop him. Chains cannot hold him, and flames cannot harm him. Allied artists, 300,000 volt shocker. See, you're just messing with me now, Jeff. This 300,000 crap. The scream that shocks the screen with 300,000 volts of horror. Inhuman, invincible, inescapable. That's Lon Chaney. And here's the second time I've read this one. The monster that defies destruction.
Yeah, but the other one was capitalized. This one doesn't have any capitalized.
You're a son of a bitch. The bullets don't penetrate him. Chains don't hold him. Fire doesn't hurt him. A new creation that becomes a rock of horror.
A rock of horror?
Well, okay, now
rock of horror?
That's a translation of from a foreign poster, and I couldn't figure out what I'm sure rock means something else, like
Are you saying you want a piece of me?
An icon of horror or something like that? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you, sir. And that's been Taglines with Chad.
Chad's our hero, cool and rad. With him reading taglines, they can't be that bad.
Just repetitive as hell.
Or maybe they can. I don't know.
A rock of horror.
Well, and these are the reasons why we got mixed up with the Man-Made Monster. This is the poster.
But that's not them. But
that doesn't happen.
That's a different movie.
They give him 300,000 volts, and actually, and this is why, because this is what the Man-Made Monster looks like. See, he's glowing all around him with Lionel Atwill getting ready to pick his nose.
Hey, weren't you in Son of Frankenstein?
You got a little boogie.
It just seems like that would be that movie, the poster for that movie. But okay,
Electric boogie.
And there's women screaming and
women screaming.
The scream that shocks the screen with 300,000 volts of horror. Okay, that's the one you see. That's the one I see the most of.
Inescapable, inconceivable.
Yeah,
inescapable.
Lon Chaney and Marion Carr.
Indestructible Man.
Casey Adams. Oh, and I forgot to say that Max Showalter was billed as Casey Adams. He apparently changed his name right after this.
I bet you know why I did too.
Well,
Oh, look at that.
same thing. Kind of a tall, skinny one. Although in this particular case, the lightning bolt effects are around his hands instead of his whole body. And then we've got probably a lobby card. He's shooting electrical shocks all over the place. Yeah. And
looks like a roach when they turn the light on it.
Our Spanish one, El Hombre Indestructible.
Blah.
I thought it would sound.
The Transylvanian translation.
Yeah.
Blah.
But
Indestructible Man.
German. Der Werger von Zing.
That sounds like a totally different film for a totally different audience.
The Strangler of Sing Sing. The Strangler of Sing Sing. And look, while they're standing there with her screaming and the guy with the gun, he's sneaking up out of a manhole right next to her.
She's going, is that a real gun?
And then our usual. We got to get our bilingual poster.
In this illustration, Lon Chaney looks like he's just been walked in the bathroom because
It does.
And we got some lightning bolt action there, or supercharged electrical discharges or whatever. But
they do have the great shot of him strangling both doctors at the same time.
Yeah.
Like multitasking right off the bat.
Yeah, exactly.
So I believe again this is the French. And I'm not even going to pretend to, but I'm pretty sure that one is Indestructible.
Indestructible.
And Danish or Flemish or whatever, Die Onvernilbare Man. And I know I didn't say that right, but it's
every time you say Flemish, I just want to go.
well, Americans
for some reason.
What can we say?
Flemish.
And that's it. That's it for the posters. And now. For the director that I thought I had never heard of, Jack Pollockson. You guys ever heard of Jack?
I don't think so.
Well, that's him in the top right picture, the bald guy with the big dome. The one on the right is Edgar Ulmer.
Oh, okay. I remember this picture.
But he did the Neanderthal Man, which also has Robert Shane, who is the doctor, the main doctor, not the son of Dr. Jekyll. And actually, I watched the son of Dr. Jekyll and the daughter of Dr. Jekyll this week. I mean, apparently they made money on one, so they
another
daughter of Dr. Jekyll, blood-hungry spawn of the world's most bestial fiend. Okay, the man from Planet X, and some of these I think he wrote.
Yeah, he only directed 3 films. None of which are these that he directed.
These are the ones that he wrote. Yeah, the other ones that he directed, you wouldn't even know them besides this one, I don't think. One of them is like it does sound like horror, but it sounds like really bad horror.
Unlike these,
not like this.
Here, yeah. Got Dr. Jekyll's family tree up here.
Yes,
son, the daughter.
Monstrosity. Monstrosity is the other one, and it's got a 3 rating on IMDb, and he was uncredited. Yeah, out of 10. And Indestructible Man is 4.4. So but he wrote Captive Women, and he wrote Port Sinister, which is you might think that's a I don't know,
Ronald McDonald story,
but anyway.
Say what?
So he was kind of a busy guy at the time. So now let's talk about the story.
I saw that good portion of the third act got cut away, which makes sense for the loose ends.
Yeah, and most of the information there was came from apparently Tom Weaver, who wrote a book on this called Scripts from the Crypt, Indestructible Man, that came out in 2015. So his take on it, there was all kinds of stories coming from different people, but his take was that what was supposed to happen is Chaney was supposed to start regaining his ability to speak as time went on. And because he thinks that Pollack's fund decided to keep him mute, they had to cut all the scenes of him talking later on. And that actually kind of fits better than the other justifications they gave him. Pollack's fund just said, "Oh yeah, monsters can't talk,"
There was also something about money. Didn't they get financing pulled?
Yeah, money ran out. That one of the women, one of the writers said that what they remembered was money running out. But it was, everything about this was quite a bit different. Let me see here. He goes to find his loot in the sump pit, down in the sewer, and goes and stashes it in a cave. And that's why we actually see him with, if you look at it, there's a scene, I think it's when he gets shot by the bazooka, that don't look like the sewer. There's like a cave wall behind him or something. And they said that was shot in Bronson Caves, like a lot of these movies were. And then he breaks into, and this has to be wrong, breaks into the police station, bends open the bars, and this says Hume's cell, but it had to have been Ross Elliott's cell, Paul Lowe's cell. That must have been who they were talking about. Because what happens is the guy who's the guy he really wants to get revenge on kind of disappears. We don't know what happens. He gets out of jail and he should be getting chased down, but he doesn't. Anyway, and then he scoops up the woman, Eva, and takes her to his cave where he is ambushed by the police with bazookas and flamethrowers. So that happens in the cave. And Butcher, and also he doesn't just happen onto the electrical plant. He's lured there by Dick Chasen in a car chasing, using Eva as bait. So instead of, he just ends up there. So Chasen lures him to his death. So the cave's gotten rid of, and it's all Los Angeles sewers. The whole plot line where the Butcher gets his revenge on Lowe and kidnaps Eva is gone. The car chase, which involved Eva, is gone. Instead, Chasen chases him there. Anyway, so
yeah, it seems like he almost
it's hard to say.
Made the decision to go there. And
well, they claim that a lot of that footage was shot, or at least Weaver says there were stills. There were stills of the scenes that are not in the movie, which happens, right? But they also claim that people remembered shooting, a couple of these scenes that were said that were cut. So I don't know.
Yeah. Now, one of the reasons why they didn't want him doing dialogue is because he actually said, "Don't give me any dialogue or dialogue changes after lunch," and that was because he was full on having his drinking issues. He was a straight up, straight into his alcoholism time.
But there were also people there that said that he didn't have any problems with lines.
Yeah. Paloxafen side effects include heart attack and mild migraines. He said that he's never worked with a more professional person than Chaney, and he kind of debunked that myth or that gossip that Chaney was drunk most of the time and couldn't remember his line.
I think the writers said that too, but
it says the key scene where Butcher kills Lowe was filmed. There were production stills showing him. several people interviewed by Weaver remembered it being filmed. Both of the writers remember that the cave scene was shot in Bronson Canyon, and we know that. You know, you could see in the picture that it's probably a cave. So anyway,
And they just edited it away.
yeah, they just intercut sewer scenes right after that, so that it looks like you think you saw them in the sewer, but
I guess I didn't notice a big difference between the cave, what would be a cave and the sewer.
and that's what they wanted you to know.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and it was a flash cut, that when they shot him with that bazooka, that was just a flash scene with a big. Anyway,
I did wonder where the bazooka came from. I thought we were talking flamethrower, but
yeah. He's indestructible except for bazookas, apparently.
and flame. Yeah, I guess so.
And electricity.
Yeah.
And Legos.
All right.
And Legos.
Yeah. There's nobody alive that can step on one of those and not.
No.
Yeah, that's true. So the film was edited by Fred Feitshans, Feitshans, who also edited The Ghost in the Invisible Bikini and a bunch of those beach movies through that period. Also the what's the other one? The Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine.
The Girl Bombs.
Whatever. He was nominated for an Academy Award for Wild in the Streets, which seems really bizarre because I don't remember that movie getting much positive press, but it was about sort of a revolt of young people during the political process in 1969. And he did The Mummy's Curse in 1944. So he's got a whole lot of, if you go through the things he's edited, there's a lot of movies you'll recognize. The cinematographer, John Russell, who was married to Vi
Nipsey Russell? No, okay.
One of the writers, Vi Russell, the writer.
They were progressive ahead of their time.
They were.
So he did a whole bunch of stuff for Alfred Hitchcock. He did 75 episodes of Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And because of that, he ended up being the cinematographer for Psycho.
Ooh.
And was nominated for an Academy Award for that.
Cool.
Orson Welles always said that Russell was the greatest camera operator in Hollywood's history.
Nice.
The French.
I don't know if that was before or after the wine commercial or not. But,
It had to be before.
He also did 21 episodes of the Alfred Hitchcock Hour, 10 episodes of Thriller, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, City Never Sleeps from 1953, which is a pretty good noir, The Atomic Kid, Tobor the Great,
Tobor,
The Man from Planet X, and M Squad, a TV detective show that starred Lee Marvin. He did 15 episodes of that. So all this stuff to me shows that he was well regarded, I think, especially as later on, after doing all those Alfred Hitchcocks, he got into some little bit better, well-known
I would imagine.
titles.
After you do Psycho, pretty much.
So anyway, that's my spiel on them. And I know there was something about Vi Russell and Mrs. Dwiggins. They were both married to cameramen of the unit that Pelexon worked with, apparently, at the time. And they were sort of production assistants. He claimed he wrote the script. They did like the final draft. But if you go on, it's really not fair to shortchange their credit. He said they helped on the second half, but they both went on to Sue Dwiggins went on to a long career in production coordination department. She married Wallace Worsley, a production manager, and started working on the stuff he was working on. So she got to work on The French Connection, Deliverance, Slapshot, and was the production coordinator for E.T. Also active in industry politics, and was a key player for getting production coordinators unionized in 1978. So, yes.
Cool.
All right.
You sure it wasn't Mr. Tudball? Is that not who she married?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was.
Mr. Wiggins.
Wiggin.
All right, Lon Chaney. There's his.
Who is this Lon Chaney you keep speaking of?
He's about ready to say he's stinking rotten mouthpiece. Talking through the bars, sir.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of him in this?
I liked him. I enjoyed it. I loved listening to him talk in the beginning, and I liked his, kind of just. I guess it was kind of over the top, chewing kind of stuff, but I just thought it was fun, and I just you could see how sweaty he was and oily, and
Yeah. I don't think they made him that way either.
I'm free
Especially
sweaty.
after lunch. Yeah. All I kept thinking of was this is only 13 years or so, 14 maybe after the Wolfman came out that he made this, and it's quite a different looking Lon Chaney.
Yeah,
and he went from what was the name just flew out of my brain, where he played the big guy Lenny.
Of Mice and Men.
Of Mice and Men, and this and Wolfman and stuff like that, to these C and D list movies. When he had the chops, as far as I was concerned, to act in any movie and be great in it. It's just a shame. That's all I could think about watching this. But I wish he would have gone on to get bigger and bigger.
There were some things that he did that I appreciated, the little small things that I felt like you could see that he has talent. Like when he was seeing Eva for the first time and he was touching her hair and trying to communicate with her. I don't know. I just appreciated that. I thought that was a very natural scene.
We've done a lot of movies with him in them. Alligator People, which is another one we brought up as a possible one we were trying to think of.
That's what I was thinking.
Because Beverly Garland sits on the trunk with radioactive stuff in it. Also, House of Dracula, Son of Dracula, where he's quite debonair and handsome looking. Spider Baby. Abbott Costello Meet Frankenstein, The Wolfman. So yeah, lots of.
I think he did it. I think he gave a little bit of character to Butcher Benton. I don't know. I had some sympathy.
I mean, at least his name wasn't Dick Chasen.
Dick Chasen.
Yeah,
somebody's up to shenanigans, I think, in the writing department.
Well, it was two women. Who named one guy Dick Chasen, and we don't know if they named him.
I think it was Professor Dwiggins,
and
he's responsible.
From
Caltech.
All right, so that's Chaney. Well, let's take a look at Chaney when he's getting.
No.
I thought that was nice.
So that
chemical
shot
peel
in the
didn't work
middle,
real well there.
look at that shot in the middle is when he gets hit by the bazooka, and look at the wall behind him.
Yeah. Okay, I see it now. Yeah.
But it's such a quick shot, and then they cut right away to him walking, running backwards or with his back to you through the sewer. But oh wow, yeah, his face got kind of.
Yeah, and I felt like that was pretty grotesque, and some of the scenes were really violent, like where he's throwing people off the top of high.
Those are great.
Buildings and stuff. It's like, wow.
I love that scene, and this is probably part of this was maybe John Russell, and I don't know who else would have thought up this scene, but when they do that, what's that called? Angel's Flight, the car that or the
trolley,
funicular or trolley that goes down that steep thing, and they have.
Are you speaking English?
Inside it, and they're scanning around, in front. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
I wonder why they didn't use the makeup more in promotional stuff.
Yeah,
that-
that's a good
That's
question.
kind of a more of a scary.
Mhm.
Probably because he doesn't look like Chaney in it, and they needed to sell the Chaney.
Well,
one.
there you go. Yeah.
Mm.
Looks like Pizza the Hut.
Yeah. So Lone Star.
Let's see.
It is
I
pretty
don't-
creepy though. Makeup though.
Mhm.
At least in IMDb, nobody is credited with makeup.
Yeah, so they just need somebody on one day, slap
Yeah.
some,
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's some ick on his face and roll it.
So,
Well, he looks like his skin is. I don't know. I just think it looks pretty gross and
Yeah.
awesome.
It's a little charred.
Fried Chaney, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little charred, like he's supposed to, right?
Yeah.
Like he went face first into a flamethrower. That's yeah, it works.
Post bazooka.
I don't know. I love him. I love that shot of him climbing out of the manhole too.
Yeah.
Look at his face is like, you're walking down the street and you see that come out of the manhole. You're running. You're gonna turn and run.
I'm sleeping down here.
And his hair's all slicked back.
Yeah.
Well, the love interest here is
Dick Chasen.
Marion Carr, and so
Chaser.
Butcher Benton is Lon Chaney, and everybody seems to think that Eva is his girlfriend, but she doesn't think that. She doesn't seem to even know. Like, I went out with him twice and went, this ain't the kind of guy I want to go out with.
He was heartbroken over Madge, her roommate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a quick rebound. Yeah.
But then,
There was so much exposition about that.
of what? Oh, that's right. Well, then, yeah. And then when she meets Lieutenant Dick Chasen, played by Max Showalter, they go out for a ride. What do they have a
A burger.
They have a burger, and they're sitting
Yeah.
in the car telling each other, "Oh, well, I got out of the army and I was just kicking around. And I was." And then I saw an
Yeah.
ad for the police. The police,
You ever had jock itch?
for the police exam, and I thought that looks like fun, or something like that. Anyway,
Oh.
and then after being together, it's like literally what is it? 2 days, maybe 1 day?
Yeah.
They're off getting married at the end.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
He got her fired from her job and decided they're gonna get married.
He's the real
She
villain
can't
here.
say no.
He is a real villain.
He's
He's metal. He just
gaslighter
upsets everything.
Yeah.
until he gets her home.
She just loved his name.
I'm not
Yeah.
taking your last name, asshole. I'm not.
What would it be? What was her first name? And what would it be?
Chasing. Her name
No,
was
I-
Ava.
Ava Chasen? That doesn't work.
Not like Dick Chasen.
Not. Hey, you said it, not me.
I couldn't help it. I feel like it was required. Federal
I've
law.
never seen such a ridiculous name for a character in a
It
movie.
was hilarious.
And we've
And they
heard some
kept
good ones.
They kept saying it over and over.
I want his name plate that he had on his desk. I want to buy that from eBay.
Yeah, it
or
was.
wherever I
Yeah,
can
this
find it.
nameplate was there. I don't think they ever called him Dick Chasen. They called him Dick and Lieutenant Chasen. I think. Did they actually call him Dick Chasen out loud during the movie? He probably got introduced.
Every time they did, I heard it in my head.
If they didn't, I did. Yeah, I was gonna say they may not have said it, but I heard it.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Well, she didn't have a ton of credits, although she was in "Kiss Me Deadly," 1955, and she was also in one called "Nightmare" in 1956, also the same year here. But she was decent. I mean,
Yeah.
you start off going, "Oh, she's this burlesque dancer," so you're thinking about a certain class she's from or something. Then it turns out, no, that's not it.
All day with the chicky boom, chicky boom.
Nope, not her. Now, her friend Francine, that would have been a different story.
Francine was funny.
Now, Max Showalter, who in this movie was billed as Casey Adams, He was in the Twilight Zone episode "It's a Good Life."
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's been in everything.
Yeah.
Did you see his connection to Leave It to Beaver?
Yeah. He was the dad, right?
Yeah, he was Ward in the pilot.
Ward Cleaver. Yeah, in the pilot.
Really?
What happened there?
I
How
don't
did
know.
you lose that
Beaumont
gig?
came along. Yeah.
Also, the monster that challenged the world.
Chad didn't like that idea.
He refuses to believe there was someone before Hugh Beaumont.
That can't be true.
He didn't want anybody to see him dick chasing.
Mm-mm.
Anyway, yeah, the monster that challenged the world, and he was in 2 movies with Marilyn Monroe: Bus Stop
Bus Stop, yeah.
in 1956 and Niagara in 1953, which is a pretty good movie. It's a pretty good movie.
I feel like we talked about this earlier, but I feel like there's these actors. I feel like they just look so familiar.
I know.
It's just like, oh yeah, I had to have seen him in something, or an episode of Perry Mason, or Ma. A lot of these folks were in Ma and Pa Kettle, which I have to say was on TV a lot when I grew up.
Yes, me too. So he had 103 credits. He was in 16 Candles. That was his last movie.
I know, I read that.
And Chad's gone, but we have the Incredible Hulk.
Mm.
Did episodes of that.
He was in the Stockard Channing show. What was that all about?
I don't know. I missed that one.
Stockard Channing show. He was in like every episode except 2.
6 episodes of Perry Mason, so you were on that, Daphne. 3 episodes of Hazel. Do you guys remember that?
Hazel, yeah.
I think I saw that a couple of times. But yeah, like Love Boat, of course.
The Love Boat.
Bewitched too. I can't say I'd seen that. Andy Griffith.
Yeah, he's just about everything as you go down. Especially, I think he's would be a great guest on a sitcom. I think he's got something about the look on his face and stuff, but he does a good job on here. I think and he does that whole. It is interesting that they chose that method to do sort of the Dragnet type voiceover. It's almost film noir in the way that it's played out, the way that the police talk to each other and stuff. Blast it, man!
Dang it, boy!
He did an episode of Incredible Hulk, Chad. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I heard you say it while I was.
Oh, did you? I thought we was muted. All right. So that's him. I want to mention these. The crooks and the bartender, and actually, I was trying to figure out who that woman was at the bar, but I don't think that she got a credit, or if she did.
I did see something about her, and she had been in. Let me look it back up. I'll look it back up. Oh, Marjorie Bennett. Her credit was Floozy at Bar.
Floozy at the bar.
Okay. There we go. Now I recognize her.
Abbott and Costello, Meet the Killer, Boris Karloff. Yeah, I Love Lucy.
Floozy at the bar.
Lucy
You know who
at bar.
the bartender looked like to me? The guy that plays the police chief in Justified. Raylan Givens' boss.
Oh, a little bit. Yeah, he kind of has that same body shape, but that's also a guy that is in. I think he had like 287 credits. And it's just as you go down, it's like he's in everything. He was in the John Wayne movie, The Cowboys, Emperor of the North. He was one of the conductors. Just
Floozy at the bar.
yeah.
Floozy at the bar.
Now, where have you seen that? Because I don't see that on IMDb. Did you see it someplace else?
Well, the source wiki.
Okay.
Yeah, Floozy at the bar.
I don't know why that isn't in there.
Yeah, but she was in a ton of stuff. Twilight Zones, Chips. The last her last acting was Barney Miller, which I love.
Yes.
Dobie Gillis. Man loves Dobie Gillis. She's been acting since Silence.
So what was her name?
Her name, Marjorie Bennett.
Oh, well, geez, I didn't even recognize her. She was so floozied up. If that's true.
That's what it says. I mean, I can't guarantee that it's true because it's on Wiki, but
Marjorie Barfly Bennett.
Um,
So it says in my wiki.
yeah,
I'm sure we'll hear if it's incorrect, which we should. Oh my gosh, she was in Macmillan and Wife. Ah, so good. Mysteries, ABC Mysteries.
She was a working actor. That's what she was.
Mhm. Yep.
yes, she was. Yeah, no, she's got. I don't have time to go through her stuff, but what do we have? 217 credits.
Mhm.
Whatever happened to Baby Jane?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Tons of stuff. She's from
Well,
Australia.
I got to dig that up because that seems weird that they wouldn't put her name in there with all the other stuff that was on there. I mean, they got the one on there. I don't even know who it is. It's like Screaming Woman. I don't know who's the Screaming Woman.
Probably I'm assuming it's the one who one of my favorite scenes in this whole movie was when all those people are just gawking at the guy. What's his name? Squeamy after he gets thrown off his top, and they're like practically standing up top.
Well, and that guy.
So I think she was the one who called the cops.
Squeamy doesn't even get a credit. He's uncredited. I'm like, what? Anyway,
That's him there on the left, isn't it? That's Squeamy, right?
I think the guy in that.
Yes.
Is it the guy on the left?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, on the bottom. Yeah.
The other guy
the
was
floozy.
Joe Marcella.
Mm-hmm.
So Ross Elliott, or maybe I got him in another picture here. He was the lawyer.
Oh.
He was in Tarantula, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and Towering Inferno. He had 268 credits.
Yeah, I know I'd seen him and stuff before. Yeah. So smarmy.
Yeah. And Robert Falk, the bartender, who's Harry. I know he was in.
How do you know?
He had 13 episodes as a deputy sheriff Clem in Bonanza.
Mm.
He was in Rebel Without a Cause. So yeah, he's got a ton of stuff too. I feel like he's in a Twilight Zone episode, but I'm not seeing it. Anyway, yeah, there it is. He's the gatekeeper in The Hunt. Season 3, episode 19. Anyway, I'm sure there's some other great stuff he was in, but I'm not going to.
The Love Bug.
Make everybody wait while I
The Love Bug?
He was in The Love Bug.
He did 4 episodes of Cheyenne, which, stars, who.
Rory Calhoun.
No, Clint Walker.
Oh, Clint Walker. Okay, I was going to go with Rory Calhoun.
I've switched to Clint Walker.
He's the first
Okay.
go-to. Rory Calhoun is the first go-to. We all learned that.
Yeah, it's just.
That's a
Darn
good.
it, I thought I
that's a
had
good guess.
Yeah, he's been in so much stuff.
3 seasons of Justified as Raylan Givens' boss.
No, that's not him. All righty. So that's Robert Falk, but I do have. So yeah, those 2 guys at the top, Joe Marcellus and Squeamy, are the 2 guys that helped with the bank robbery and then turned state's evidence. Later, Squeamy's at the bar with, and when he kills those guys, man, both of them, one of them he throws them down the stairs next to the Angels flight, and that's brutal.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I know it was a dummy, but it was fast enough that I couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
That was cringy.
Uh-huh.
Cringy. Oh, that's right.
I fell on my keys.
That's the other one. You're right. You're absolutely right. Because when he throws them off the higher place, the other
Yeah.
guy, Squeamy,
Yeah.
then we don't actually see that. We just see that woman full face screaming
Yeah.
and looking up
Yeah.
in there. Now I got you. I got you. Oh, that he was in. Robert Folk was in 3 episodes of The Texan. Who
There you go.
stars? Which stars? Yeah, Rory Calhoun. All right, I'm done.
The other
Doc's
thing
going,
was,
when is this going to end?
I also loved when Squeamy, he sees the butcher and his cigarette falls out of his mouth, and it totally made me feel like I was watching Ghostbusters. When,
yeah.
Oh,
When he
yeah.
split the gum.
I was like, yeah. What is
I thought I
this?
was the only one who appreciated that scene from
No,
Ghostbusters.
I love it.
Oh my god.
He is a genius. But anyway, yeah. So I just thought that made me laugh. I saw that.
Cool.
Well, and the other guy, Joe Marcellus,
Mhm.
when Butcher Benton is chasing him, he's on crutches.
Yeah,
And
he's cruising.
he's trying to run up the stairs on crutches.
He's
Like,
hitting him with his crutches.
wow. And then
It's
down
the
the
Indestructible
stairs.
Man.
Yeah. Not even crutches.
Yeah, I gotta hurt him with
We'll
not even
work on
crutches.
this.
That should have been in the tagline.
Exactly. Not even
Should've been on
crutches
the
can hurt this
tagline.
guy.
All right. Ken Terrell, the guy who played Joe Marcellus, was in Attack of the 50-Foot Woman
Nice.
and The Brain from Planet Eros. Both 1958. All right.
Eros means love.
Oh,
Does it?
I'm sure somewhere.
All right. So the top picture is Ross Elliott, who was, we've already kind of talked about him, but he's in everything too. He's the cheesy mouthpiece, the dirty rotten mouthpiece. And Peggy Maley is kind of the she's the heart of gold burlesque dancer, I guess. Francine, who's always sort of like going, you know.
Yeah. But I
looking
think
to
she
up her
was
status.
I think she was in a lot of stuff too. Dragnet, Perry Mason. And one of the actors in here. Oh yeah, she was the one who said to Marlon Brando, "Hey Johnny, what are you rebelling against?" in the Wild One.
Yes.
Peggy
Yes.
Malley.
She was in I Died 1,000 Times, which was a remake of
I died 900 times.
Stop.
High Sierra. Remake of High Sierra. Which stars Jack Palance and Shelley Winters. And anyway, Lori Nelson. All right.
Willie Nelson.
Lori Nelson.
Oh.
Will, where?
Dragnet. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I thought she has a good presence. Oh,
Yeah.
she was in The Texan too.
See?
3 episodes of Perry Mason. I
Yeah.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
these people, Wanted Dead or Alive, the Steve McQueen show, and the 3 cops, Roy Engel, and the guy in the middle was Max Showalter, and the one on the right is Stuart Randall. So where have we seen?
Of the Beverly Hills Randalls.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Randall.
I thought Stuart Randall looked so familiar to me, but I don't recognize anything in his credits. So
Yeah. He was in he was in Captive Women, which Pollexfen wrote.
Mm.
And then he was in Tarantula in 1955.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. That's the incorrect. He was in Laramie. 36 episodes of Laramie, which was a Western in the early 60s. All right.
blast it, man.
Blasted, man. He is you're right. He's very recognizable.
Mhm.
And he has 198 credits. I mean, these guys. Oh, I was going to say too, Ken Terrell, who plays Joe Marcella, was also a stuntman.
Ah,
So he had like 200 acting credits and then about 160 stuntman credits on top of that. So, all right, where are we else? We have Stuart. Oh, Roy Engel. I didn't look anything up, but I know we've done stuff with Roy Engel, and I'm pretty sure he was in Billy the Kid versus Dracula.
Huh. Interesting.
But I'm just guessing. It's so weird how you look this.
Zombies of the Stratosphere.
Zombies of the Stratosphere. Yep. He was in the remake of M. He was also in The Man from Planet X, Kingdom of the Spiders. I knew he'd done something with him.
Yes, that's
But he's a very common Western character. When was I have to make sure and look now, because I know we've had him on stuff, because I remember looking him up and going,
The Colossus of New York.
Oh, he's a patrolman in It's a Mad, 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 Mad World.
Not of this earth. No.
The Tracy Lords one?
No.
Oh, damn.
No, that was from 1957.
He gets close. Settle down.
Doc.
Dad.
No.
Don't get excited. I think I was wrong about Billy the Kid versus Dracula.
Oh, okay.
But,
It came from beneath the sea.
yeah.
I love
229 credits. Yeah.
The Mad Magician. Oh no, not the Mad
Oh,
Magician.
he plays the sergeant that the stupid lawyer punches so he can go to jail.
Yes.
I'm
That
like,
poor guy.
you dirty, rotten
Yeah.
mouthpiece. They should have said that more often.
Yeah. That's what
Now you got to put me in jail.
I think people should talk like the 50s more often anyway.
you dirty rotten.
You dirty, rotten, stinking mouthpiece. Your mother sews army boots in hell.
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean purgatory.
Yeah, I guess I'm only getting Kingdom of the Spiders when I search our database, so that's probably it.
Well, that's a
Although
good
he
movie to
usually
be
has,
The mayor. He was the mayor.
small parts in there. I knew I had looked him up for something. All right.
I'm
and then-
Roy Engel. You may know me from such films as Kingdom of the Spiders and M there. Roy Engel.
and our two scientists
Captain Henderson from Adventures of Superman.
who are, yes, Robert Shane and Joe Flynn.
I heard that everybody was laughing at Joe Flynn, and so he decided to go into comedy after this.
That's
Because
what
nobody
he said.
was-
Huh, really?
Yeah.
He said people were laughing at him in the theater, so he thought, well, comedy would be cool.
Well, good. He's did well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm no Lon Chaney, but
So here are their more well-known roles.
Hmm.
Now it's interesting to me. He's second from the left in the Superman picture behind Perry White. His his temples are grayed,
Mhm.
but in this movie they were not, and that's roughly the same time. Anyway,
Hollywood
and Joe
magic.
Flynn in McHale's Navy, he was such a. You
Yes,
ever
he
see that,
was.
Daphne?
I've seen like maybe 1 or 2 episodes and probably clips from it, but
Yeah,
I've definitely seen him in that costume being
He was-
goofy. Yeah.
such a.
138 episodes.
My
did
dad
well.
was like my dad's favorite show. He would just sit on
Oh,
the floor
gosh.
and laugh his ass off. And he had his crew too was a bunch of goofballs. I think I don't have any more notes about these people, but we should talk about the finale. He apparently he's committing suicide, eh?
Yeah.
Because either he doesn't want to be indestructible or he realizes they ruined his dating life with that bazooka blast.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I guess I hadn't thought about that. Oh, maybe he just didn't. He had killed everybody. Well, we
He
didn't see him
didn't.
kill. We didn't see him
No.
kill the lawyer. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
He did
Yeah.
kill the lawyer, but not in the one
Not that we
showed us.
know. Yeah,
Yeah.
the one that we know.
So odd.
Hmm.
I imagine that old goofy sound effect when he's blown up in that third picture, the one where Goofy goes, Yahoo!
He does, doesn't he? The one guy screamed.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he blows up real good there. You know, that big
Blows up real good.
block and tackle for that crane. That's I think that isn't that like a crane for containers for shipping or for something. Lift up big chunky things, and move them back and forth.
Yeah.
Love that guy up. You see the little guy on the top, isn't he cute?
Yeah.
The top picture. And then he makes sure he moves the crane so that it hits the electrodes or the power or whatever.
Zappa-lappa.
So that's that. That's the finale.
They should have called it the semi-indestructible man. He was getting his ass kicked from one end to the other of California.
He was. He's shot a bunch of times. He tries to stab himself with scissors. They try to stick a hypodermic.
Oh, that's right.
That doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like that scene though. It was cool how the needle was bending.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but I did like. I wish I had a picture of them choking the two guys.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
I thought
Doc's
we had
right.
it was on the poster or something. One of the
Yeah, it was
posters
on one
has
of the
him.
posters.
Oh, one of the posters, yeah.
Yeah. But
He's
Doc's
grabbing
right.
both doctors.
I think it was one of the other ones.
Keep going.
There
There it is
you
on the
go.
bottom.
Doesn't look like either one of the guys from the movie.
An
No,
artful rendition,
Yeah.
I guess.
Doc's right though. How many scenes were him with the eyes? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that
coming
was a lot.
closer to the screen.
The old Bela Lugosi.
They wouldn't let him. They wouldn't let him. You know, and what's weird is if that would have been interspersed with dialogue, it wouldn't have seemed so like the same thing over and over and over again, right? The only time he talks is he talks to Marion Carr, Eva.
Oh,
Doesn't
yeah.
he?
Well,
I
he
thought
doesn't.
he talks to the lawyer.
With her. Yeah, the only
Well,
person
that's
I think
before
actually
he gets
talks.
Oh, okay.
before he
I
gets
thought you just meant
changed.
general.
Does he not talk? Oh, he doesn't talk to
No.
Eva, does he?
No.
Oh.
He communicates with his body.
Apparently. All righty. Well, last comments here, Chad. Do you wish you would have picked Man-Made Monster? Or
No, I like this movie. It's a cool movie.
I like the ideas with it, and I like
Shut
the
up, Doc.
cinematography. I thought the cinematography was kind of cool.
Another scene I thought was really cool was when they pull up outside the sewers and you see the police car, and there's like the shot is from down in the sewer, and you're looking through like this vent in the sidewalk, and you see the police car pull up, and the butcher is listening to the cops talk. I don't know. I thought that was.
We all float down here.
No, and the map, like the map that they find in the envelope, it's like a bunch of lines with a big X. It's like that's a cartoon map. That's a Bugs Bunny map. That's not in the real map.
That you know what?
An X marks the spot.
I'm not gonna find anything with that map.
I actually meant to post that. Oh, here it is. Yeah,
That was the silliest damn thing ever.
what's in here? Well, he made a
What is it?
map to show where he hit it.
Yes. Look at that.
Look at that. Right.
I ain't gonna tell you.
God. That looks like
there's no names, no anything on there.
It looks like a preschool maze or something. You know.
He takes the map and slides a $50 bill in.
This is what the inside of my anthill looks like.
Mm.
That's right. The lawyer takes the map, gives her a $50 bill, and thinks that's what.
Yeah.
That's what he told me to get after he died.
Yeah.
The $50 bill to show.
And then he comes in and he's trashing the place, and she's going, "I got the $50.
I know.
I don't give a shit." No.
He was trying to say no 2 words. Sounds like
Yeah.
Okay. Besides Adventures of Superman, Robert Shane was also in How to Make a Monster, The Giant Claw, and
Giant
the
Claw.
Neanderthal Man, which was another. Anyway, all right.
Something
on,
else
you-
that I was
Keep
thinking
going,
when we were
Daphne.
watching was it made me think about how many movies we've seen with the down in the sewers with the flamethrower. I feel like I just felt so familiar.
Them.
The blob.
Them.
Yeah, like the blob. And like,
Flamethrowers in the sewer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And,
no methane down
Bluebeard.
here. What are you talking about?
just
Oh man, and
Yeah.
we missed a whole gaggle of really stupid fun movies with Joe Flynn because he did a lot of those Disney movies in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Before he passed away, he did The Love Bug, The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he was what was the last one he did was The Strongest Man in the World. Remember? It's all yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
He's a guy that was not as old as he looked, kind of, but he died at the age of 49 in 1974.
He looked like 49 in the
Yeah, and this one, and then he goes on to
Yeah.
but his last two films came out after he passed away, which was Strongest
Still-
Man in the
still
World
ahead.
and the
Mhm.
still
And
ahead
they're,
of credits.
Mr. Snoops and the Rescuers.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, and
Oh, he
then
did
Match
a-
Game. Yeah.
I did an
I've
episode of
seen
Night
him in this
Gallery.
stuff. Yeah. Love Bug.
Tim Conway Show. Come on.
Oh, he's a perfect for Tim Conway show.
Yeah. Son of Flubber.
$1 million.
Son of Flubber.
Huh?
Oh yeah. You got
Yeah.
to get Flubbers in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have all those? Did you say all these? The Barefoot Executive?
Oh, he was in a Batman episode.
Mhm.
He was Benton Belgoody. What is that, Chad? Benton. He was uncredited, but he was in 2 episodes as Benton Belgoody.
That sounds
That was fun,
an awesome name.
The cat's meow and the bat's kowtow. Probably Cat Woman. Or
Yeah, probably.
yeah.
Which one? Which one? Which one? That's the important thing.
Julie
Catwoman.
Newmar, hopefully.
Julie Newmar.
Mm,
Come on. All the Catwomen are awesome.
Yes,
mhm.
they are.
They are, but my favorite is Julie Newmar.
I agree.
And then Eartha Kitt, and then
I was gonna say-
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Eartha Kid.
Merriweather. Lee
Lee
Merriweather. All right. Joe Flynn.
Merriweather was the other one. Oh man.
Yeah, in the movie.
Who ends up being she Mannix's secretary.
Oh, is she?
She ended up being on one of those detective shows.
Mannix. So cool. Phone in his car.
Mike Connors as Mannix.
Hey, and if you ever, they're not related, but if you ever listen to Mannix, listen to Mike Connors, and then think about Chuck Connors and his voice, I swear it sounds.
A gravelly, same gravel in it.
Yeah, I don't believe. I'm totally wrong. She's not somebody else was his secretary.
Mm.
Maybe.
It wasn't
Buddy
Rockford
Alford.
Files, was it?
No, he didn't. Well, he didn't have.
He didn't have a
He
secretary.
didn't have a secretary.
What, is he too good?
Well, he couldn't afford a secretary.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
He's on
He
his
lived in a
own.
trailer on the beach, and had
Beach,
an
yeah,
answering
come on.
machine that he never had.
True.
Every show.
Not like he had it all.
Barnaby
for
Jones.
everything.
That's what Barnaby Jones.
Barnaby
Barnaby
Jones.
Jones.
178 episodes of Barnaby Jones, and her name is Betty Jones. So I'm guessing she must
Hmm.
have been his daughter, eh?
Niece. Could have been a niece.
Her niece. Yeah, she sure as heck was it.
Or his lover.
Could have been.
Oh, I hate the way he says that.
So,
Oh.
any more?
This is my lover, Barnaby Jones.
He's a
Well, doggy.
sweet old lover.
Okay.
Oh man. Cats in the
Anywho,
Cradle.
you should watch it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's on a lot of. It's in a lot of places. It's like on
It's-
MGM Plus. It's on Prime. It's in both the Wicked Horror TV and Classic Horror Movie Channel. I think
Is this one of the ones that are in public domain and kind of everywhere?
probably.
Mm.
I could not find. Trust me. I looked for a Blu-ray. I couldn't find one. I saw some DVDs, but I didn't see a Blu-ray anywhere. And maybe there's nothing that can be saved
Okay, no, this movie can't be
that well. So.
We used a print we found in the garbage.
Oh, and just to point out why people were so worked up about him hiding the $600,000 from the heist, that would be worth $6.9 million today. So it was a big heist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
pretty
bad.
good. Yeah. I mean, even 600,000, nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, I'd take it.
I would. Wouldn't be able to do much with it, but I'd take it.
I'd find something.
All right,
Can't
we
even,
ready
can't even
for?
buy a good house with that.
We have a few pieces of feedback, a few feedbacks on The Flesh and the Fiends. If we're ready to move on, are we ready to go? Ready to move
Sounds
on?
like. Sounds like it.
Daphne,
Yes, sir.
are you done thinking of stuff?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Well, if anything comes to mind,
Didn't even ask me.
yeah. So I'm going to try to interpret this one. Episode 189, The Flesh and the Fiends. Emulus79 says, a star with bigger parts and with a laughing emoji. So I'm thinking maybe I said something about Georgia Rose that you would have thought he'd have got bigger parts. And he's making a double entendre out of that.
Sounds
bigger
like something you'd
parts.
say. Yeah.
I'm guessing. Yeah.
That
My
sounds
one of
about
my
right.
one of my malapropes.
That and
All right,
dick
from
facing.
Jose Daphne. you want-
Jose. Yes. Glad you liked it. I fear I may overplayed my hand a bit with Jeff and Daphne, but it seemed to work out well. I've always liked it dark and grimy and gritty. Yes, it is. I have to admit that Knox's redemption at the end comes a little too easily and quickly, tied up with a bow, especially after his chilling interaction with the little girl. I just wish the available sources were in better shape. Those lifted, milky blacks and contrast issues rob it of some depth, and it looks very doopy, far from the original negative. I love it when Burke is running on at the mouth and Cushing recoils at Burke's apparent bad breath. It just fits. It just fits with the whole icky atmosphere.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
That's great. He leads right into him.
Yeah.
Right after Donald Pleasant says, "Let me do the talking." Because she's like, you wonder if that was directed or if he just did that anyway. Appreciate it, Jose. No, we loved it. I'm glad you brought it up. I had seen it before, but I went out and went after that Blu-ray, and yes, it could be better, but it's decent. All right, The Flesh of the Fiends from Scott Wells. Where are we at? Okay, let's go with Doc.
Oh, me, huh? Oh, fun. All right. Scott Wells says Burke and Hare, along with Sonny Bean, has often been the subject of inspiration for film, and for good reason. Their crimes captured the imagination of the public at the time and were not soon forgotten. The Flesh and the Fiends is probably the best of the films based on the case. The Body Snatcher is also great, but I feel this one edges it out slightly for realism. And I'll point you all to the hilarious I Sell the Dead from 2008 with Dominic Monaghan, Ron Perlman, Larry Fessenden, and Angus Grimm for a far more wild and comedic take on the grave Arabic
I've
story.
seen that one. That was pretty good. I like
I'll have to see that.
I might be remiss as a historian if I didn't point out that the ultimate irony of the case, after his execution, William Burke was turned over to an anatomy school and became himself the subject of dissection. A small riot broke out among people wishing to view the public procedure. The dissecting doctor, Professor Monroe, used Burke's blood to pen a brief statement on a piece of paper. His skeleton was turned over to the Anatomical Museum of the Edinburgh Medical School, and a book bound in his skin is in the collection of the Surgeons Hall Museum.
Damn. Carmen
Wow.
came down heavy on that.
Wow.
Now I understand why they were bounty snatchers. You know?
Yeah.
That was the stuff they did. And by the way, I had to look this up, but everybody else probably knows this, but Sonny Bean said to have been the head of a 45-member clan in Scotland in the 16th century that murdered and cannibalized over 1,000 people in 25 years.
Shoo-wee.
According to the legend, his clan members were eventually caught by a search party sent by King James VI, and were executed for their heinous crimes.
Heinous.
But were their bodies and skin made into books?
Yeah,
I know. It was
a
like,
whole, a
rough.
whole library. You know,
You always kind of do the skin book thing as
I know.
medieval or something,
Right.
but here it is.
probably in the Tower of London with the
Right.
crown.
Yeah.
All right, then we have one from Mikey Z.
Mikey Z.
Chad.
I saw this on AMC sometime in the 1990s. Billy Whitlaw and Donald Pleasance give fantastic performances. There are some very good setups of gory, unseen moments. This film is very class conscious. The park scene is very indicative of this. Whitelaw's Mary tries to appear upper, but unfortunately her true nature emerges and she doesn't appear too embarrassed about it at first. I agree with Daphne's assertion that she ultimately is resigned to her station in life. She realizes that her cards have been dealt and she accepts the hand. By the way, The Doctor and the Devils was produced by Brooks Films. Mel Brooks.
Yes.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Who's a big horror fan, actually.
Well,
Great
and
podcast.
it's a horror comedy kind of.
Yeah. Great podcast, guys. Next up, one of my favorite Chaney films, a quasi-remake of Man-Made Monster. Did you guys do that one yet? If not, get on it, please.
Get on it. Get on it. I would say that Mary actually preferred that. I think she did more than accept it. I think she preferred it. I mean,
Yeah.
He chose it.
I was like, no, I would rather be here. Go away.
In the end,
Yeah.
well, I think she wanted both, but it was easier. She wasn't
Right.
willing to give it up, and it's
Mhm.
always easier.
Mhm.
It's this is the rut I'm in, and I have furnished it.
Yeah.
Well, and I also appreciated that she was okay with it. Like she
Yeah.
didn't seem to, look down
She-
upon herself.
No,
didn't
she
look
did.
down
She
on
wasn't
herself.
ashamed of it. She wasn't
No.
ashamed of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She's like, I
And I
am
like
what I
that.
am. Right.
Mhm.
All right, well,
Yeah.
that's it for feedback today. Thanks to Emulous79, Jose, Scott, and Mikey Z. We appreciate it. Plenty of ways to stay in touch with us, so please send feedback to feedback@gruesomemagazine.com, or you can leave comments on the Gruesome Magazine's YouTube channel or at Gruesome Magazine's H&R DOH Podcast Facebook group. We do love comments, and if you don't believe us, listen to last night's listen to the
Yes.
listen to the I had a hairball there for a minute. Decades of Horror. Listen to Decades of Horror, the 1980s episode on Cannibal Ferox, because we had 5.5 weeks of it. There's at least 30 minutes of feedback on there.
Wow.
Oh, there's more than that.
No, we actually talked like an hour and a
Stop
half.
trying to lull people in.
We actually talked an hour and a half on cannibals. Bill brought a presentation on the history of cannibal films.
Yay! Oh,
It was a
man.
beauteous thing to behold.
It was beautiful. I learned stuff.
Oh gosh, I love it.
And strangely enough, he
One
started
of
with A Man Called Horse, which isn't about cannibals, but a very similar scene is in Cannibal Ferox, is in A Man Called Horse. So anyway, please leave comments. We love your comments. But that's it for this episode. Every 2 weeks, we'll be focusing on a specific film released between 1920 and 1969. Next up, chosen by Doc, is
Planet of the Apes. Finally, we're doing Planet. And it was when I picked it, it was still playing on what, Hulu?
I think it was on Max and Hulu when you
Max
picked
and
it.
Hulu, and then suddenly it's gone. Just like that. How many times has that happened to us over
I
the
don't know.
course of this podcast?
If
I stopped counting.
I
ran out of fingers and toes the times it's happened to me.
I believe I don't know how we're going to fill up an episode with this one.
Nah. Well, I'll show you in a couple weeks how we're going to do that.
You talk about foreshadowing.
This is going to be one of those ones where I'm trying to figure out. I'll bet you. I'm not even. I should look.
We could just pick a topic and do it, like, inside of the movie, and do 2 hours on it.
Oh my
We
God.
could just do Rod Sterling or Serling rather, and his involvement. And,
Oh gosh.
And the book.
anyway,
The book.
the changes from the book, and oh man, this movie, and I could just talk about what this movie means to me and how I collected crap on it and followed all the movies. This movie had a
This isn't
huge,
gonna go
huge impact. Yeah.
This isn't going to go well. I can tell already.
Yeah, block out your Sunday night.
Yeah.
This is one of those that I had the whole set on VHS and then eventually made it through to the collection on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I think I have the blues. Yeah, the Blu-rays.
Yeah.
I love how crazier and
Okay.
crazier they got as they went.
Oh, okay, the movies. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then that horrible TV show.
No, which I watch
see.
religiously.
Haven't seen that.
There are 191 trivia items just
Oh,
on
wow,
IMDb.
just on the trivia.
Not
Oh,
even-
wow.
How many
Oh.
taglines?
I'll pack a picnic. You guys bring the drink.
Oh my gosh.
And some of them are like synopsis.
No,
We
this,
can
this is,
podcast by the stars.
this is a very, very important film.
Somewhere in the universe,
for-
there must
for
be something.
the
better
young
than
Doc
that.
Rotten.
In a matter of time, an astronaut will wait. That's a tagline. Okay.
Oh, Chad.
That's a great. I mean, I saw this in the theater, and I absolutely went nuts. If for no other reason than two lines, the two lines, the get your dirty paws off,
Yes,
the
yes.
stinking apes, and then whatever he is screaming at the.
You
Samuel
blew it
Liberty,
out.
that totally.
Mm-hmm.
I was not expecting that. It totally
Yeah.
blew me away.
I
I
was
gotcha.
like,
Yeah.
I'll kiss you, but you're so damn ugly.
I know. So many good.
Another
Oh,
great movie with
oh.
Kim.
All joking aside, though, this is one of the greatest and most important sci-fi films
It
ever
is. It
made.
is.
Mhm.
And it's everybody. I think a lot of people agree with that. So it's
All
going to be
right.
good.
Made a huge impression on me when I was a kid. Huge impression.
Oh, heck yeah. Well, I was 15, I think, around that, 14 or 15. I have to look at the actual date. It
Well,
came out.
I didn't. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see it in the theaters, but it was like this. It's one of those films that made a huge debut on TV. Because back in the day, that they would do like the big Sunday
Yeah.
movie of the week or Monday movie of the week, and it was like a big deal. And this was one of them. And
TV
Yeah.
Guide would not only run ad after ad of it, but story. The cover would be Planet of the Apes and
yeah.
all that. So
But I collected the Topps cards. I had all the little Mego figures.
Well,
I
the-
had all kinds of crazy things.
The story was legendary. The effects were legendary. And that was huge, what they did with the apes. The way they used the makeup and made them, with their mouths could move
Yep.
and talk, that it seemed like a real person and their eyes moving. Huge. All right. Well, we should stop talking about the next week's movie.
Yeah, we'll have you've got plenty to talk about next week. Yes.
Oh, no.
It
this
we
was
just
part one right here.
And then are we going to
Mm.
extend it to include all the others after that? Let's talk for days and days.
Well, those are 70s.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
right. The next
I
one's the 70s.
And we've done it. We've done a couple of them, haven't you? Yeah, just one.
We've only done one. We've only
Okay.
done
We did the sequel, didn't we?
yes, yeah. Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
Beneath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the
We haven't done Escape yet,
worshiping
or
the,
Conquest, or Battle.
missile.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, folks, I think it's time to go.
Okay.
We are now 20 minutes longer than the movie.
Yay.
I told y'all. I told y'all.
I
Did,
appreciate
did.
it, everybody. Everybody's flexibility with our ever-changing schedules.
Yeah,
So
thanks, guys.
thanks to all the feedback and all the Grue believers out there. Have a good one.
Yep,
And all you
thank you,
everybody.
everybody.
stinking rotten mouthpieces out there. We
All
love
you
you.
mouthpieces.
Damn
We're sick
dirty
of you
mouthpieces.
mouthpieces. Your dirty, rotten mouths.
Blast it.
Say good night.
What is it?
Good
night.
night.
What's a mouthpiece?